What happens when two Hollywood giants, Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise, collide behind the scenes? For years, fans only saw the glitz and glamour. But now, Russell Crowe has finally broken his silence, and what he revealed will shock you. Hidden tensions, silent rivalries, and controlling behaviors that shaped one of the most talked about film sets ever. Did you know that the smooth public image of Tom Cruise hides a much darker story? This is not just celebrity gossip. It's a raw, insider look into the true cost of fame and power in Hollywood. If you think you know these stars, think again. Stay with us, because missing this story means missing the real truth behind one of the biggest silent battles in film history. You don't want to be the last to find out what really went down. Unexpected confession. For years, fans believed that Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise shared nothing more than polite professionalism. Two megastars navigating Hollywood's elite circle. But in a recent interview that left the industry buzzing, Russell Crowe shattered that illusion. Sitting across from the host, Crowe's voice lowered as he leaned in, choosing his words carefully. "There's something I've never said publicly about Tom," he began. The room fell silent. What followed was a confession that no one saw coming. Crowe revealed that during the filming of The Mummy in 2017, he witnessed a side of Cruise that was rarely talked about. One that wasn't scripted, rehearsed, or edited. Tom wasn't just intense. He was controlling, Crowe said, describing how Cruz took over scenes, gave direct orders to crew members, and even challenged the director's calls. "At first, I thought it was just passion, but it was something else, something deeper." He paused before continuing. "I admired his commitment, sure, but it also made me question the cost of that obsession, not just for him, but for everyone around him." Crowe's tone wasn't vengeful. It was reflective, as if he'd been carrying this experience for years, waiting for the right moment to let it out. And now that he has Hollywood is listening, the silence has been broken. But the real question is, why now? Silent revelry behind the camera flashes and red carpet smiles. There existed a tension that even the most polished PR teams couldn't hide forever. Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise, two titans of the film industry, were often compared but rarely seen as friends. In fact, according to insiders, their rivalry wasn't loud, it was silent, and that made it even more dangerous. Both men built their careers on dominance. Crowe with his gritty intensity, Cruise with his polished precision. But when they were cast together in The Mummy, the unspoken competition began to surface. Crew members whispered about the alpha energy that flooded the set. Every day was a chess match, one anonymous source revealed. Crowe would change a line to match the emotion. Cruise would tweak the entire scene to regain control. Russell, in his confession, subtly hinted at this rivalry. When never argued, he said, but there was always a sense of measuring up. "I think we both felt it, even if we never said it." The respect between them was undeniable, but it came laced with a cold edge, not hatred, competition. Fans are now rewatching The Mummy with new eyes, spotting moments where the tension bubbles beneath the surface. A glance held too long. A line delivered with a bite. The smirk that now feels loaded. The silent rivalry wasn't just real, it shaped everything. Set tensions while the world saw glossy trailers and explosive action, the atmosphere behind the scenes of The Mummy was far from smooth. According to Russell Crowe's recent revelation, the set wasn't just tense, it was on the verge of combustion. And the source of that pressure, a clash of dominance between two cinematic powerhouses. Crowe recalled specific moments when the creative process was derailed by control struggles. Would have the scene blocked, rehearsed, and ready. He said, and then Tom would walk in and completely restructure it, not maliciously, but like he had to be in charge of every detail. Crowe tried to stay composed, but deep down the tension was growing. "I'm all for improvisation, but when one actor becomes the unofficial director, it wears on you." He described days where the crew stood in awkward silence, waiting for the invisible power battle to end. Directors were caught in the middle, unsure whose vision to follow. Some even started calling the project cruise control behind closed doors. Not so, subtle jab at the actor's dominance. But it wasn't just about authority, it was about respect. "There were times I felt like a guest in my own scene," Crowe admitted. And that's not how collaboration is supposed to work. For an Oscar winner like Crowe to admit that publicly speaks volumes. The tension wasn't just professional, it was personal, and it left scars that would take years to surface. Behind cameras, when the cameras stopped rolling, the real drama began. According to Russell Crowe, the off-screen moments with Tom Cruise were often more intense than the scenes they performed. In his interview, Crowe peeled back the curtain, revealing how the Hollywood charm faded when the spotlight wasn't on. "There's Tom Cruise the star, and then there's Tom behind the cameras," Crowe said carefully. "He's not rude. he's calculated. He described how Cruzs maintained a meticulous routine, always surrounded by assistants, always reviewing notes, always in control. It was like watching a machine, not a man. Crowe recalled one moment during a break between takes when he tried to lighten the mood with a joke. He looked at me, smiled, and then just walked away. No response, as if his brain was already 2 scenes ahead. It wasn't hostility, but a complete absence of human warmth. I realized then, Tom doesn't turn off. Ever. Even their shared scenes lacked natural chemistry off set. No shared lunches. No casual chats. It was all work, no camaraderie, Crowe admitted. And while some called it professionalism, Crowe saw something deeper. Isolation. He ended that segment with a haunting observation. The loneliest place on that set wasn't in the shadows, it was right beside the biggest star in the world. A Cruz's reaction when news of Russell Crowe's unexpected confessions hit the media. All eyes turned to Tom Cruise. Would the ever-composed superstar respond? Would he deny it all or stay silent, as he so often does when controversy strikes? According to sources close to Cruz, the actor was aware but unfazed by Crowe's comments. However, the public silence spoke louder than words. There was no official statement, no rebuttal. Just a noticeable shift in Cruz's usually polished public image. For a man known for controlling every detail of his persona, this time he let the storm swirl, unchallenged. But insiders claim there was more going on behind the scenes. One source revealed, Tom felt betrayed. He thought what happened on that set would stay between professionals. Another added, he doesn't forget, and he doesn't forgive easily. In a subtle yet pointed move, Cruz allegedly declined a high-profile interview request when he learned the host also had ties to Crowe. It was a message, cross me and you're out. Some even noticed that Cruz began avoiding certain media outlets that had amplified Crowe's statements. The tension had moved from the set to the spotlight, and while Cruz remained quiet, the silence wasn't weakness. It was strategy, a waiting game. And Hollywood knows, when Tom Cruise stays quiet, something big is coming. Media storm. As soon as Russell Crowe's words hit the internet, the media exploded. Headlines blared across platforms. Crowe calls out Cruz. Hollywood's biggest secret revealed. And behind the smile, the real Tom Cruise. Within hours, the story had gone viral. Twitter threads unraveled timelines, Reddit flooded with behind-the-scenes theories, and YouTube was drowning in breakdown videos. Entertainment news shows dissected every frame of The Mummy, analyzing interactions between the two stars like forensic experts. Paparazzi began circling both actors, hoping to catch a glare, a statement, a reaction, anything that could feed the frenzy. Late-night hosts used the story as comedic gold, but underneath the jokes, the industry was holding its breath. What made this media storm different was the weight of Crowe's reputation. He wasn't a tabloid regular or a social media ranter. He was respected, Oscar-winning, and brutally honest. So when he spoke, people listened. And when the media got hold of it, they ran with every angle, rivalry, ego, power dynamics, and the untouchable image of Cruz himself. But as the storm raged, one thing became clear: this wasn't just gossip. This was Hollywood's mask slipping, and audiences were hungry for the truth underneath. Fans divided as the revelations continued to spread. The fan base split into two passionate camps. On one side were the loyal Cruz defenders, fans who followed him for decades, praising his commitment, intensity, and box office dominance. He's a perfectionist, not a villain, they argued online. That's why he's at the top. But on the other side stood those who had always sensed something more beneath Cruz's polished image. Russell Crowe's words gave validation to what many suspected, but never dared to say aloud. Finally, someone said it. One tweet read, racking up thousands of likes. He might be a great actor, but that doesn't excuse treating people like background props. The comment sections turned into battlegrounds. Some accused Crowe of being bitter, of trying to stay relevant. Others praised his bravery, calling it a long overdue expose of Hollywood's double standards. Hashtags like FecTeamCrowe and FaProtectTom began trending, sparking debates across YouTube, TikTok, and fan forums. Even longtime supporters were conflicted. "I love both of them," one fan posted, "but this just makes me sad. Why can't two legends work together without egos getting in the way?" The truth, when icons clash, it doesn't just divide Hollywood, it divides the people watching it. And now more than ever, fans are being forced to choose not just who they admire, but who they believe. Final truth: after weeks of speculation, rumors, and divided opinions, Russell Crowe's silence finally broke. But what is the real truth behind his words? In a rare follow-up interview, Crowe clarified that his intention was never to destroy Tom Cruise's reputation, but to shed light on the pressures and challenges behind the glitz. "I've got nothing personal against Tom," Crowe emphasized. This wasn't about rivalry or bitterness. It was about honesty, about showing the cost of greatness. He spoke candidly about the fine line between dedication and obsession and how that affects relationships on set and beyond. Crowe also hinted at mutual respect beneath the tension. "We're both professionals, and in our own way, we've pushed each other to be better, whether we liked it or not." His words suggest that beneath the surface, a complicated dynamic exists, a mixture of competition, admiration, and unresolved conflict. As the dust settles, Hollywood insiders believe the story is far from over. Both stars have their loyal supporters, but this chapter revealed a rare vulnerability, exposing that even legends have flaws and struggles. The silence may have been broken, but the full story, that remains to be told. And one thing is certain, this revelation will shape how we see Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise for years to come. Thank you for watching! What do you think? Was Russell Crowe justified in revealing the behind-the-scenes truths about Tom Cruise, or should some stories remain untold? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion might just change the way others see this Hollywood saga. If you enjoyed this deep dive into celebrity secrets, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on the hottest insider stories. And don't forget to share this video with friends who love a good Hollywood drama! Stay tuned for our next video. 2 years after she died, Betty White's family file reveals her biggest secret, coming soon. You won't want to miss it.